The number one, well, one of the number one amenities in a short-term rental, in an Airbnb, is coffee. And the selection of coffee and how you make said coffee.
We don't want you to make the same mistakes that we did when we first opened up our Airbnbs. And I'll be honest, I was only thinking about myself and what I liked in coffee. So I had one style of maker and one type of coffee. And learned quickly, you're gonna have a lot of different guests, variety of guests, and you need to give them options when it comes to their coffee makers, maybe it's tea, and then also all of the selection you offer them.
So if you're just starting your short-term rental, your Airbnb, and you were thinking about your coffee station, you're like, where do I start? There are so many options and choices. Do I do the whole thing now? Did you start with the whole thing?
I started about as basic as you can get, and I learned a lot of lessons. I started with just the single cup Keurig. And I quickly learned that that was not right because I was just offering that and regular coffee pods. I had zero selection, no decaf, not even light roast, dark roast. I was keeping it super simple, too simple, actually.
So what made you up level? Did you get bad reviews or?
You know what, it wasn't ever reviews, but I did get some communication with guests during their stay. A lot of times, it actually didn't start with a coffee at first. It was like, hey, your coffee mugs aren't big enough. Or you didn't leave enough cream, you didn't leave enough sugar. Because I could sleep up to 4 guests, and I'll be honest, I'm single, so I live by myself, and I was kind of thinking about myself and not my guests. So I knew how many K-cups I would go through on a weekend, how much cream, how much sugar I used. So really, I just started with making sure I left enough. That was my first big blunder, is just not even leaving them enough supplies. Right. So that's like baseline, is making sure you can't run out of coffee. That's like bad. That's terrible. Cannot happen.
Don't do it. You know what the worst thing is when they don't communicate that there isn't enough. When they go out and buy it themselves and they leave it there for you to find for the turnover, hey, you didn't leave me any decaf, so I had to go get it myself.
Ugh. Yeah, not good. But the best part about those things happening to you is that means it's time for you to upgrade. You have room for improvement. And so that is an exciting time. So you're like, wait, you can take that guest feedback and go, I am going to level up my listing, take those profits that we know you're earning, and up level. And the first thing to do is, if you do just have the Keurig, I know just a pot of coffee, especially if you're sleeping multiple people, is a great upgrade. And you can get a dual, like we have shown earlier, with a single cup or a coffee pot. It's all in one.
Coffee can totally brand your place. So, and you have to think of who you're catering to. Is it fast and convenient, or is it sophisticated and more of an experience? We've got the Chemex and we've got the classic French press. Both great options.
Let's talk about the selection of coffee. If you're gonna have a pot, the Chemex, the French press, you're gonna have to have coffee grounds available. And then if you have more of the K-cup style, we like to keep ours in a drawer, but this is what we're talking about, all the selection. Make sure it's organized. This is a wow factor for your guests. They're gonna feel like you're really taking care of them, and they have a huge selection. I know sometimes it's annoying, you go to a hotel room and you get like 1 or 2. Like, I can drink a lot of coffee. I need more than that. So you've got your decaf, your regular, your light roast, your dark roast. Let's talk about some non-coffee essentials while we're in here too. Hot chocolate is great for A, children, and B, if you live in colder climates. You also want to offer some sort of a pretty robust tea collection, because there are so many people out there that don't drink coffee. So you've got to think of the guests that want to have tea. And then another place you want to get really creative with your selection is in the type of sweeteners that you can use. You know, you can have sugar, you can have a Splenda, Equal, a plant style sugar, and then you can't forget the good old honey.
The way people sweeten their morning beverages also varies. So things that we offer are high-end syrups, maybe a flavor or 2. Make sure you have a nice pump so it stays clean. A variety of creamers, honey, and then of course you have sugar, brown sugar, plant-based sugar, artificial sweeteners. The list goes on and on.
Just remember, the key here is hospitality. So you don't need to have all of the coffee makers. You don't need to have all the fixins, but what you do need to do is think about your guest experience and that it's curated for them. Even if it's one coffee pot, some coffee beans, let them know that you are glad that they're staying with you. And don't get overwhelmed. This is something that you can build on over time and make the experience, continue to curate it. So don't get overwhelmed, but do think about the guest. And that will come through if you have a thoughtful layout for them.
Well, and think about who's going to be coming into your space. Do you have a one-bedroom apartment downtown where they just want to get their coffee? Maybe you want to-go cups because they're going to make their coffee and they got to run. Or maybe you have a cabin in the woods and they're taking their days and their mornings slower. And so that's where the Chemex or the French press might come into play. So again, you don't have to have it all. Think about your guest and you'll create the perfect experience.